Hello everyone, welcome back to the live stream. And today we are going to learn how to install Verge 3D, and we're going to cover some basic uh, Verge 3D UI and how to add model to the web using Verge 3D. So first, let's install the Verge 3D because it's a third party app and they have created add-on for Blender and other 3D softwares. So I have given the link in the description below. So let's install the Verge 3D. So after you download the Verge 3D, uh, like any other software, you need to open the application to install the app in your computer. And so let's do it. Let's press next, agree, next. Yeah. It's going to install automatic, but we need to also enable from the Blender. Now we have finished install the Verge 3D in our local disk C, and let's open the Blender. And in Blender you need to go to the edit tab and go to the preferences, and from preferences you need to click on the add-ons. Sometimes it's if you have enabled add-ons only, if you have a check mark on enable add-ons only, that means you're not going to see the Verge 3D add-ons. So right now I have installed, that's why it's appearing. So you need to uncheck the enable add-on only, and you can search for Verge 3D. I think I need to relaunch the Blender. So let's do it. And go to preferences, add-on, and let's search for Verge 3D. Yep, you need to check box the Verge 3D dialog box, and I think this is the old one. I think I need to, let's open a new, so don't save. It's not sure. I think I need to close this one, and yep, you need to I think restart the application to enable the Verge 3D in the add-on. let's check the Verge 3D. And if you have a model like a default cube, and if you like after enabling the Verge 3D, you'll see the two new clickables buttons in sneak peek and app manager. What the sneak peek does, it's kind of quick preview of the mesh. Right now we have a cube, so let's close it. And I think we need to delete this. Let's and app managers take us to the app manager. We can add the new projects and so on. So let's click on the app manager, and in the app manager there will be like maybe a few buttons so that we can able to preview. This one is like kind of HTML web. We can able to like see a model, and this is Verge 3D GLTF format, and this is the blend file, and this is the puzzle, and this is the open app folder, and this to publish your app, and this is to delete your app. So now let's delete this one, and let's create a new one. To create a new app, you need to click on this paper icon, create a new app, and then let's rename as I'm going to use the model as a Raspberry, so let's type Raspberry as a dictionary name and create app, and click on and now let's add a model to our scene. So go to scene, under scene there's a blend file, click on that blend file, and it will open a new blend file. So we don't need the cube and the lamp, so now we are going to add a new like mesh that we can append from the other. So I'm going to append a file, blend file, that I have already created. There we have it, the new blend file. If you want to learn how to create this kind of Raspberry in the Blender, I have given the link down below to like introduction to the geometry node, and in this tutorial we are creating this Raspberry. If you want to interested, you can check it out. So before we like jump back to the Verge 3D, what we need to do is we need to add all the modifiers before we move on to Verge 3D. So right now we have some few modifiers. That's a geometry node for the Raspberry, and you need to add a modifier before you export it to the Verge 3D. So how do we export is we need to go to the file, and let's go to the export, and you need to export in there should be a Verge 3D GLTF. Right now I can't see it. let's enable the Verge 3D again, and we can able to, now we can able to see the export version. That's a Verge 3D GLTF. We need to save it, so let's export this, and now we can, let's go back to the web, and we can see in the Raspberry. So right now we didn't apply any modifiers, that's why it's showing a sphere. So let's go back to the blend file, and let's apply the modifier manually, or what you can do is you can go to the render and scroll down to the where is Verge 3D setting. In the setting you can click on big modifiers. If you click on the big modifier, what it will do is it will automatically like apply the all the modifiers itself when we export it this file to a Verge 3D GLTF, or you can directly manually apply the modifiers, or likewise you can do it from the render setting. And now let's go back to and see the Verge 3D, and let's refresh it. Now we can able to see a Raspberry. So let's back to the, and I think we don't need leaf to be rendered. Now we are going to what we are going to do is we are going to add a background. To add a background, you can do it from the shader editor from World. Right now I have added HDRI textures with the light part and mix RGB. Let's explain briefly. So you need to add environment HDRI. When you talk about HDRI, if you need free HDRI, you can check on the web as like HDRI Heaven. I think they have a lot of variety of HDRIs, and it's totally free, and you can get it from the HDRI Heaven. And you need to add HDRI Heaven, and then what we need to do is we need to we need to add a light part to the background. What the light part does is if we change the first color, I think it's mostly it's let's go back to render. Yeah. If we change the color of the color one, it will change the color of the Raspberry or the mesh or object. And if we change the color in the background, in color 2, it will change the color of the background, so you can play with it, or unplug the color HDRI in the first color, and it will preserve the original color. And let's like this, and that's also that can be, let's export it to GLTF, and let's go back and let's refresh it. I think it's didn't change anything right now. You can whether keep it as it, or you can change the color. For me, I think I'm going to change change the background. So let's do it. Right now I'm going to use, let's uncheck this box. Yep, now we have HDRI only. Now let's add an icosphere, and let's scale it up like this. a little bit, scale it more. So now we have a icosphere as a background. What we need to do is we need to flip the normal. Let's say right now normal kind of direction is facing outward. We're going to insert inward because it will, if we recalculate the normal, we will able to see from outside but not inside to out. Like we cannot see from the in to outward kind of like outside environment from inside, but what we can see is we can see the raspberry from outside this icosphere. To do that, let's go to the edit mode by pressing tab, and what you can do is you can press go to the viewport overlay and select the like facing side of like face normal, and then select all by controlling A, and you can, what you can do is you can shift control and N, and it will flip the normal, or else you can like from the dialog box recalculate normals, you can check the inside box, and that's it. And now let's add a material to the background icosphere. So let's add a material. Let's go to the shading. We don't need a principal BSDF because in the back for the icosphere we don't want the light to be reflected or like and it casts a shadow. That's why we're going to use an emission shader node. And emission shader. And now we can able to tweak the value of color as well as a strength. Let's say right now let's keep it as 1, and let's color to be a white right now. Now what we are going to add is a layer weight. So shift A, let's go to input and let's add a layer weight and join the facing to the color. Now we have some variations, like it will give some contrast. To add a more contrast, let's add a matte node. Go to converter and the matte node, and let's make it to multiply node, and we can tweak the value from the matte node to add a little more, to add a more contrast. Like this. For the shape you can add any kind of shape, whether it's icosphere, cube, or like UV sphere, it doesn't matter. And now we're going to give a color to the icosphere, so let's add a color and mix RGB node. Let's connect the value with the factor, and now we can give colors somewhat like a pink, and this to be maybe more like darker side. Let's bring down the value of the pink color. Now we have it. Let's set the camera around this much and press Control Shift and 0. Control Alt and 0, not a Shift. And now let's export this see in the app. Now we have a background, but right now we can like see outside from the icosphere, and we don't want that. It look kind of like mess, and we can also zoom very in, so that's what we don't want. So let's get back to the blend file, and let's select the camera. After selecting the camera, let's go back, go to the camera property, and we're going to set the distance, minimum distance, maybe minimum distance to be 15 and the maximum distance to be 40 units. Before that, we're going camera need to be always track the object. To do that, we are going to add a plane, empty a plane, and let's scale it up. And let's get back to let's select the camera, and from the camera go to the Verge 3D settings like before, and from the target object or point, you can from object you can like choose click on the box, or you can click on the eyedropper and then select a plane like this, or you can select from the like drop down menu. And let's maybe we need to, I think, apply the scale to the background. And now let's see, before that let's export once more. And let's get back to the web, and let's refresh it. Yep, now we can zoom only for the limited distance. I think 40 is too far, and 15 is too near. I think we need to tweak, go back to camera, and let's set the minimum distance to be 20 and the maximum distance to be 35, and let's export it. And let's refresh the app, and now it's looking kind of decent. Yep. Now let's get back to the app manager. From that on, what we can do is we can animate a camera while the user is idle for a few seconds. So to add actions, you need to click on the puzzle icon out here. It says edit puzzle, so let's click on the puzzle. Now we have our raspberry out here, and now we have logic cube, logic tab menu. And for that, what we need to do is we want the raspberry to be rotate while the user is doing nothing. So let's select the camera and light, and let's select auto rotate camera. So let's select the auto rotate camera, and before now, right now it's the actions does not do anything because we need to uh, run the program by pressing on the player, and this is to save the save the puzzle in the cloud, so that when we can use whenever we came back in the Verge 3D. So otherwise it will disappear from the web. So let's run the program, and now it's rotating. Even we click, it's continuously rotating, and we don't want that. And we want a user to click somewhere in the scenes, and this rotation to be stopped. And to add this, we're going to use an event. Let's go to event and select when click, and choose this auto rotate and bring to the when click. And right now it says none. Let's maybe let's say let's choose the raspberry, and I think we need to duplicate this one, so Control C and V. We have something this going to continuously rotate, and this will from the auto rotate it's turned on, speed is 2, and from the when click it's going to be not on, it's going to be an off. Now if you press on the raspberry, it's not stopping. I think we need to add another section that's called go to selector, and we want the whenever we click in the scenes or like raspberry, it need to be stopped. So let's click here and right now it's not stopping. I don't know why it's. Let's maybe let's redo all the thing. Because nothing is happening because we didn't run the program. That's why I forgot to run the program. So that's the issue. Let's run the program, and whenever let's click, yeah, it's the stop. If you select only a camera or raspberry, it will only like when you click on the raspberry, then it will only stop. It's going to stop when we only like click on the raspberry. So let's rerun the app, and if we click on the scenes and it does not stop the rotation. So let's get back to the all object. Let's run, and now stopped. Yep. And we're going to do is we're going to resume the rotation after a few seconds when the user is not doing anything. So for that we need to go to the time, and let's select the set timer. Let's use this to be our let's rename the my timer to raspberry, and the time interval to be 5 seconds for testing, and let's run. Yep. Let's Yep, that's working. Yep, every after 5 seconds it will rotate automatically. Like whenever we click it stops, and every after 5 seconds it will rotate again. Maybe let's make it up to maybe around let's see, and let's join. Let's the timer be a 15 seconds. So let's run. Now what will it going this program will do is, whenever we click and it will stop rotating, and every after 15 seconds it will auto rotate the camera, and then it will repeat the whole process again and again. So let's play. I think interval, I think we don't need this. Let's be a 15. Whenever you change something in a program, you need to like rerun the applications. 15 seconds, nothing not working. Maybe let's give 10 seconds. Let's see. Let's run it. Let's click. I think let's see we didn't save, that's why it's all gone. So let's quickly do it. Auto rotate the camera. And in event when click is needed, let's CNV. Let's turn off selector to be all the object, and let's add time. Seconds. Now let's run it. It's saved. Now it's going to rotate every after 10 seconds. Yep, and this is good. And that's all for the tutorials, today's live class. So see you in the next live stream, and thank you for being with me, and thank you so much for your support, and see ya.